Hi friends, I got a call from one of my exporter friend. He told me that he has lost money under LC. I told him that yes, LC guarantees the payment by issuing bank only when we are able to submit a compliant presentation. He told me that no, it was basically a second shipment and he had already got the money for first shipment and documents were exactly replica of the first shipment. So why did issuing bank reject his claim? So I discuss all the matters in detail and try to understand the real issue. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. I am Isaac Tudu. Basically, I am an ex-banker with SBI and ICICI Bank, having more than 25 years of banking experience in trade finance. I help SMEs and corporates in trade finance related matter, and also I help bankers in preparation of CDCS exam. So let us go and understand this case. So this was typically a case of installment shipment. Beneficiary had received one export LC value USD 600,000 available with nominated bank by negotiation, draft at site, drawee issuing bank, partial shipment was allowed, description of goods were 600 computers to be supplied, shipment period indicates as under field number 44D, shipment period 200 computers to be shipped in February 2022, 200 computers in March 22, 200 computers in April 22. So this is the gist of the LC. After scrutinizing the terms and condition of LC, beneficiary ships the first lot of goods and presents the documents to the nominated bank. Nominated bank forwarded the documents to the issuing bank. The first presentation was for shipment of 150 computers shipped on 20th February for USD $150,000. As the documents were compliant, it was honored by issuing bank. Beneficiary receives the export payment through nominated bank. Beneficiary ships the second lot of goods, that is 200 computers on 10th March for USD $200,000 and presented the documents to nominated bank. But this time, the outcome was totally unexpected. Instead of receiving the export payment of USD 200,000, beneficiary was informed that the presentation was not compliant. Issuing bank had sent a notice of refusal stating that the shipment period stipulated in the LC was not observed as per UCP 600 Article 32, and therefore LC is ceased to be available for the beneficiary. Beneficiary had a different view on this. The LC allowed partial shipments. Partial shipments, even within individual installments, were not prohibited in the LC. Therefore, the company was of the opinion that the affected shipments, that is 150 computers on 20th February and 200 computers on 10th March, were in compliance with the shipment periods stipulated in the LC, that is 200 computers in February and 200 computers in March. So who is right now, beneficiary or issuing bank? Does the partial shipment in the given shipment period, that is 200 computers in February and 200 computers in March, allow the beneficiary to ship a part of an installment? Or due to non-shipment of full quantity in a given period in an installment, lead to LC being ceased to be available for that and any subsequent installment? Let us examine the case. UCP 600 Article 32 states, if a drawing or shipment by installment within given period is stipulated in the credit and any installment is not drawn or shipped within the period allowed for that installment, the credit ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installment. And what we see that whatever LC was received by this beneficiary was basically a typical case of installment shipment, where Article 32 will be applicable because given shipment period was there, like 200 computers in February, 200 computers to be shipped in March, 200 computers to be shipped in April. And ISBP 745 paragraph C15E2 rule says related to partial shipment in case of installment shipment or drawings, when partial drawings or shipments are allowed, any number of drawings or shipment is permitted within each installment. So this is the important word we need to remember. So it is very clear that when partial shipment was allowed in the present case, the beneficiary was permitted to draw any number of drawings or shipment within each installment. This is very important, okay? But that has not been done. Instead of 200, only 150 computers were shipped in February. So conclusion is, if a shipment has not been made within a given period fully and in due time, shipped only 150 computers on 20th February against the schedule of 200 computers in February. In this present case, LC ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installments. So the opinion expressed by issuing bank is correct. So with this background, let us examine in detail what exactly installment, shipment or drawing is, when Article 32 will be applicable, and how this Article 32 is bit riskier one for the beneficiary. So here we go. LC number 1, 200 computers to be shipped in February, 200 to be shipped in March, 200 to be shipped in April. So LC requirement of shipment of 200 computers in February, 200 computers in March, 200 computers in April means 3 period of time that starts on 1st February, 1st March and 1st April and end on 20th February, 31st March, 30th April respectively. So this is the meaning of February, March, April. In this structure, beneficiary is unable to combine any shipment without creating a discrepancies. Any failure to adhere to the schedule would mean that Article 32 will apply. That is, that the LC will cease to be available for that and any subsequent installment if the beneficiary fails to keep to the stated schedule. So this is typical case of installment drawing or shipment where Article 32 will be applicable. IVP 745 paragraph C15A1 says, when a drawing or shipment by installment within given period is stipulated in the credit and any installment is not drawn or shipped within the period allowed for that installment, the credit ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installment. Given periods are a sequence of dates or timelines that determine a start and end date for each installment. For example, a credit requiring shipment of 100 cars in March, 100 cars in April is an example of 2 periods of time that starts on 1st March and 1st April and end on 31st March and 30th April respectively. So with this definition, we can have another example of installment drawing or shipment. LC number 2, 200 computers to be shipped between 1st February to 28th February, 200 computers to be shipped between 1st March to 31st March, 200 computers to be shipped between 1st April to 30th April. So this is also a peculiar case of installment drawing or shipment where Article 32 will be applicable. So what will happen if shipment of 200 computers is done in February, but there is no shipment in the month of March? So in this case, Article 32 will be applicable and LC will be ceased to be able for shipment of 200 computers in March and 200 computers in April. So this is a peculiar case of installment drawing or shipments where Article 32 will be applicable. Let us understand further in this regard where LC is not an installment drawing or shipment. A number of LCs are issued with wording that consists only of a series of latest shipment dates. Let's see this example. LC number 3. 200 computers to be shipped no later than 28th February, 200 computers to be shipped no later than 31st March, 200 computers to be shipped no later than 30th April. So what is the difference between LC number 1 and 2 and this? Here, whatever we are seeing here, these all are basically not a given period. These all are basically latest date of shipment, means these 200 computers to be shipped on or before 20th February, these 200 computers to be shipped latest by 31st March, on or before 31st March, and these 200 computers to be shipped no later than 30th April means latest by 30th April. Prior to this 30th April, these 200 computers needs to be shipped. Simple. So it is not a case of installment drawing or shipment. So in this regard, ISBP 745 paragraph C15B1 says, when a credit indicates a drawing or shipment schedule by only indicating a number of latest dates and not given periods as referred to in paragraph C15A1, this is not an installment schedule as envisaged by UCP 600 and Article 32 will not apply. The presentation is to otherwise comply with any instructions in respect of the drawing or shipment schedule and UCP 600 Article 31. So here in this case, Article 32 will not be applicable because this is not a case of given installment schedule. So in this structure, in fact, the beneficiary could ship all 600 computers by 28th February, when the intention of the applicant was most likely for 3 separate shipments to occur. How that is possible? Simple. These 200 computers to be shipped not later than 28th February. So obviously, on or before 28th February, these 200 computers to be shipped. What about these 200, which is supposed to be shipped no later than 31st March? Means on or before 31st March, also this needs to be shipped. And these 200 computers can be shipped in the month of February also, because February is prior to 31st March. Likewise, these 200 computers, which are supposed to be shipped no later than 30th April, means this is the latest date. Before this 30th April, any day, shipment may happen for these 200 computers. This means that these 200 computers can be shipped on or before 30th April, means even on 31st March, even on 20th February. So effectively, beneficiary could ship all these 600 computers by 28th February itself. So Article 32 will not apply in this case, means the provision that the LC will cease to be available for that and any subsequent installment if the beneficiary fails to keep the stated schedule will not be applied. What will happen if shipment of 200 computers is done in February, but there is nil shipment in the month of March? Article 32 is not applicable. Therefore, LC will be available for shipment of 200 computers latest by 30th April. So let us understand one more concept when partial shipments are allowed in both type of LCs. First, we will see LC number 1, where partial shipment allowed. 200 computers to be shipped in February, 200 in March, 200 in April. Partial shipment is permitted. So ISBP 745 paragraph C15A2 says, when partial drawings or shipments are allowed, any number of drawings or shipment is permitted within each installment. So it means that beneficiary can ship 100 computers on 10th February and another 100 can be shipped on 25th February, perfectly in order, because partial shipment is allowed. Maybe beneficiary can ship 50 computers on 5th February, another 50 on 15th February, another 50 on 25th February, and another 50 on 28th February. Absolutely fine. So effectively, beneficiary can draw any number of drawings or shipment within each installment. Let us take another shipment schedule. 200 computers to be shipped in March. That means it is possible that beneficiary can ship 50 computers on 1st March, another 50 on 10th March, another 50 on 20th March, and another 50 on 31st March. Absolutely fine. And for these 200 computers to be shipped in April 2022, beneficiary can ship 150 computers on 15th April and another 50 computers on 30th April. Absolutely fine. So partial drawings or shipment is permitted within each installment. Okay, so this is the meaning of partial shipment when it is allowed under installment credit. So what will happen when 150 computers shipped on 20th February and 200 computers on 10th March? Whether it is allowed? No, this is not in order. Article 32 will be applicable and LC will be ceased to be available for the unshipped 50 computers and subsequent installment of March and April. Why? Because out of these 200, only 150 computers have been shipped on 20th February. Rest 50 has not been shipped. So this installment has not been completed by the beneficiary. Therefore, LC will be ceased to be available for pending 50 computers and subsequent installment. So beneficiary will not be able to use these also because he has not been able to complete these 200 computers within February. So let us take another type of LC where partial shipment is allowed. 200 computers to be shipped no later than 28th February, 200 to be shipped no later than 31st March, 200 to be shipped no later than 30th April. So in this case, ISBP 745 paragraph 15B2 says, when partial drawings or shipments are allowed, any number of drawings or shipment is permitted on or before each latest date for a drawing or shipment to occur. Okay, so In this case, what will happen when 150 computers shipped on 20th February and 200 computers on 10th March? As UCP Article 32 is not applicable, LC will not be available only for the unshipped part. Unshipped means this 50 computers has not been shipped in February. So this 50 only will not be available to the beneficiary after February. Otherwise, rest of the installment will be available to the beneficiary for shipment. So in this case, Article 32 will not be applicable. So let us understand this particular thing in much more detail. Here we go. The same example. What will happen when 150 computers shipped on 20th February and 450 computers shipped on 25th February? Is it okay? Perfectly in order. How? Because these dates are basically latest shipment date. Out of these 200 computers, only 150 computers have been shipped on 28th February. And on 25th February, rest 50 and all these 200, 450 computers can be shipped on 20th February. Let us take another example. What will happen when 150 computers shipped on 20th February and 450 computers shipped on 10th March? No, this is not in order. Why? Because after 28th February, 50 computers cannot be shipped. So only computers can be shipped, this 200 and these 200 on 10th March. 250 computers shipped on 10th March, perfectly in order. How? These 200 can be shipped now, and out of these 200, 50 can be shipped on 10th March. So 250 computers can be shipped on 10th March. 400 computers shipped on 10th March, perfectly in order. These 200 plus these 200 computers can be shipped on 10th March. So this was complete discussion on the installment credit when Article 32 will be applicable, and another set of LC example we have seen when only latest date has been given when Article 32 will not be applicable. What should beneficiary do? Choice available with the beneficiary. It would have been better for the beneficiary if they would have understood the actual concept of partial shipment allowed in case of installment shipment and act accordingly. Or they could have requested drawings for shipment schedule by only indicating a number of latest date and not by given period. In that case, it would not have been an installment schedule as envisaged by UCP 600 and Article 32 would not have been applied. So we have discussed in detail what is installment shipment and how this will be a bit riskier for the exporter. So whenever you receive any LC and you observe this type of installment drawings or shipment, please take care. I hope this video would have given value to you. If that is the case, I will request you to like and share this video. I would also request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to learn from me related to CDCS exam preparation, you can contact me. Thank you so much.